The marathon that is the Major League Baseball regular season is winding down, and your Baltimore Orioles, be that as it may, they are crawling into the postseason in the next week. 6 games remaining. What does the last week of this marathon 162 game season for the Orioles bring to the table? What does it present? I'm going to look at it from both sides. I know Birdland, we're a little sad, we're a little negative, we're a little down at the team's progress over the last month or so of the season. But God's favorite host is back. We're going to break down this Orioles last 6 games. I'm going to give you all the playoff scenarios, what I'm looking forward to tonight in the Bronx as they open a 3-game series against the Yankees, 3 against Minnesota. And that's it. The regular season is over. And a week from today, we will have Major League Baseball postseason action and the wild card round beginning, where it looks like the Orioles will be playing, hopefully hosting that wild card series in Baltimore at Camden Yards. Make sure you guys, if you're new here, make sure you guys subscribe. Welcome. We do Orioles content throughout the year, pretty much regularly. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking about the Orioles? Are you a little down? Will they be one and done again? Can they make a deep run? Can they get hot? These are things we're going to tackle in this video. Hit the bell, let you know when all the new content drops as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like button as well. Let YouTube know you love this Orioles content and you want other people, other Orioles fans, and sports fans, baseball fans, to find what you see here on the Flex Zone. The Orioles have lost 5 straight series, and they find themselves 6 games out of the American League East Division Championship with 6 games remaining. The Yankees' magic number to clinch is 1 game. So either an Orioles loss, a Yankees win, and it's funny because the two teams play each other the next 3 nights. So you kind of think that the Yankees probably will clinch with the Orioles there, and the Orioles' magic number is only 2. So any combination of those teams in the wild card, Kansas City, Minnesota, Detroit losing, and the Orioles winning, they'll probably clinch by Wednesday or Thursday in New York as well. So you could have both teams, ironically, in New York, division rivals, one winning the division, the other winning the hopefully top wild card, which I think is safe, and both celebrating. And what does this series mean? Nothing, essentially, because when we came into the schedule and we saw how the season was playing out, we thought this series would determine the American League East. And a team did get hot, and unfortunately, it was not the Orioles, it was the Yankees. But this season is going to be all about the injuries for the Orioles. We know what happened. We know the guys that they've lost, too many to name. But we know on the positive side, they are getting guys back. We know Jordan Westburg is back. Ramon Urias is back. Danny Coulomb is also back. And it looks like Ryan Mountcastle will be joining this team. It looks like in the Bronx as well. One of the best defensive first basemen in the NFL, in the Major League Baseball, just in the league, not just American League, not just National League, in the entire Major League Baseball. He's a top 10 defensive first baseman. Obviously, his home run numbers are down. Maybe Baltimore, the left field wall, has a lot to do with that in Camden Yards, but he still has that home run capability. And he's a guy, when you think about the playoffs, when you think about October baseball, guys that can get hot. The Orioles lead the league in major leagues in home runs. They lead the major leagues in home runs. He's a guy that can carry. We know about Santander. We know about Gunnar. But I think he's one of these other guys. Now, there aren't many on the Orioles roster, but he's one of those guys that can get hot offensively and I think carry you with the long ball. I think Westberg is also a guy like that. I think Westberg and Urias look like they're already pretty much back in midseason form, thankfully, especially defensively, because their ability to save runs, make stops is going to be very, very important. Pitching and defense, we talk about it all the time in baseball. Now, I saw an interesting number. In the last 82 games, that's more than half of a Major League Baseball season. And that is since June 20th, where the Orioles beat the hell out of the New York Yankees in the Bronx. Pretty much, the first half of the season, they were asserting their dominance over the Yankees. They had the Yankees numbers. They were beating the hell out of them on June 20th. And honestly, yeah, they had the belt. Yep, they were going up. They were going around it. It was some Yankee spanking going on. But in the last 82 games, the Orioles are 37-45 since that June 20th wonderful day. They're under 500. As I mentioned, they lost 5 straight series. As I mentioned, the injuries. But the inability to hit with runners in scoring position, they were the best last year at it. They're one of the worst this year. Yes, they lead the league in home runs, but if you cannot hit with guys in scoring position, runners on first and second, no outs, second and third, 1 out, runners on the corners with no outs, bases loaded with 2 outs. If you cannot get guys in with guys on base in crucial situations, and that's what the playoffs is all about, you're not going to be able to hit as many home runs. It gets colder. You look at the temperature right now. We're officially in fall, second, third day of fall. Look at how quick and drastic the temperature has just dropped. If you live anywhere on the East Coast or in the Northeast, how quickly it's dropped. That means the balls don't travel as far. It's harder to get a grip on the ball. It's not an easy concept like in the middle of summer where balls are flying out of the ballpark because of the humidity and wind. This team is going to have to find a way to produce runs. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully. You got Mountcastle back, you're going to get him back. You're going to have Westberg back, you're going to have Urias back. You got Gunner. Hopefully Rushman can give you something. Santander, Hauser, Mullins. Defensively, I'm very excited because you get those guys who are plus defenders at their position, can play multiple positions, guys who can hit. Urias was on an all-time career run before he got hurt, and Westberg is steady Eddie. He was an all-star. So I think we have to look at that as Orioles fans and say maybe they can beat this year's Arizona Diamondbacks, who made it to the World Series in the wild card. Maybe they can be this year's Texas Rangers, who won the World Series out of the wild card. Can they get hot? Can they start to play better at the right time? I think if they had let's say right now, they would match up with Kansas City. It would be a best of 3. All 3 games would be Academy Yards. The Royals have been fantastic this season. Very much a surprise. Bobby Witt Jr. is a stud. He's an all-star. He's an all-world superstar, 5-tool player. A guy I like coming out, thought he might be an Oriole, but it made sense because then we wouldn't draft the Rushman, and then the guy Gunner, we've only had Bobby Witt, and then nothing else to show for it. Having that ability to potentially play Kansas City, they've lost, 7 in a row, multiple games in a row. If you can really get them, I really think the Orioles should be favored. If they play Kansas City, I like our chances. I'm cool with that. Now, like I said, the team I want to avoid is Houston. I don't want to play Houston by any means unless it's like the ALCS or something. I think we can beat New York. I'm cool with New York. I think we can beat New York as well. Now, if we play Minnesota, I think we can beat Minnesota. I think we're cool with beating Minnesota. The team I don't want to see, and I have to say this because I was on this team before the season. They started out a little slow, but their pitching, their defense, their bullpen, they got some guys who can get hot. Not Texas Rangers, the Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers, they're very scary. They get into the playoffs. We talk about a hot team. We talk about a team getting on a roll. We talk about a team playing its best baseball at the right time. I just think they're a bad matchup for the Orioles. Granted, the Orioles had a lot of self-inflicted wounds, much like we see with the Ravens a lot, much like we see with the coaching and the management with Brandon Hyde. A lot of self-inflicted wounds, not being able to get guys in with runners in scoring position. Over the past week or so, terrible base running, just mistakes and gaffes, errors in the field. Hopefully, like I said, that should be shored up with Westberg and Urias. Coulomb is back. I would love to see what this bullpen can be because that's my second key, the back end of the bullpen. I think now if you have Jake Webb, you got Coulomb, you got Perez, who haven't given up a home run in forever. You got Cano. Soto has even done decent. Sir Anthony Dominguez or Anthony Dominguez, because your sir has been taken away because you got to earn it. I'm intrigued to see what he does in the playoffs. Will he be the guy they go to? Craig Kimbrell is DFA. Cole Irvin is now with the Twins, who actually took a loss the other day. We're going to see because I think it's going to be a short leash on these pitchers. I think Suarez should be moved to the bullpen. I think he may be out of gas. He may need to rest for the rest of the season. Burns, Eflin. We know those two. I'm cool with those two against anybody. Who's your third starter for the Orioles? Is it going to be Dean Kramer? I'm leaning toward Dean Kramer because the closer we get to the end of the regular season, the minor league baseball season is officially over now as of yesterday. I do not see Grayson Rodriguez back right now. And honestly, if he does come back, what is his role? He hasn't been able to get any innings in. He hasn't been able to get any work in. They may just really hold off on it if possible. Maybe he could come back in the playoffs, but that's only another week. And there's no signs that he's close to coming back. So is it a situation where we just shut him down for the year, get him right for next year? I think Dean Kerman needs to be that third starter. Put Suarez in the bullpen. You roll with those three, especially in the best of three. See what happens. You have a short leash. You hope Burns and Eflin can give you 5 or 6, and then you really can have an opportunity with your bullpen. But you got to score. Scoring runs is the name of the game. And I've heard a lot of things. This team they're whiffing a lot. They're not making a lot of contact. And one thing about baseball, when you have an opportunity to hit, you have to make contact. That's why teams and analytic guys and the numbers, who makes guys whiff? What's the whiff percentage? What's the whiff rate? Do they miss bats? Because when you hit the ball and you can hit the ball hard, it can find a seam. It can find an odd, unique bounce. A guy can make an error. You could beat out a play. You can do things that can happen that could go your way. It's a game, we know, of inches, a game of weird mishaps. But if you make contact, you hit the ball hard, it sometimes finds a way to get through. It sometimes has a mind of its own and gets that hit that you need. That little broken bat blooper, that ground ball down the third baseline that you beat out, maybe with a challenge. And they have to stretch out and try to make the play, hustling out of the box to get to second base on a double play or going first to third. These are things the Orioles are going to have to do. Like I said, I'm optimistic because I said before the season, I don't care about division crowns. I don't care about accolades, manager of the year, rookies of the year, guys in the MVP conversation, guys hitting 50 home runs, leading the league in home runs, having all the young talent. What are they going to do in the playoffs? Last year, the lights were too bright. I saw that as an Orioles fan who's been watching the team for a long time. Brandon Hyde got outmanaged. His inexperience showed. This team, the layoff hurt them. Now, this year, I think the layoff would have helped them with the injuries. But hey, let's go for what we know. They had an off day yesterday. They're back in New York for 3. I think, again, like I said, against New York, I like our chances. Anything can happen. Against Minnesota, I like our chances. Anything can happen. Kansas City, I like our chances. Maybe even more than any other team. Anything could happen. Houston, I don't want to see them until the ALCS. Wake me up then. We'll talk about that when we get there, if we get there. If you tell me the Orioles are going to be one and done in the wild card again, I wouldn't be mad because this team is so inconsistent. I don't know what I'm getting day in and day out. Matter of fact, I don't know what I'm getting inning to inning. This team does not fight like they used to last year. They will be down 2-3 runs, but you can't turn the TV screen off. You couldn't turn away for a minute. You couldn't go up and get a snack, make a sandwich, use the bathroom, take the cat out, to take the kitty litter out, or take the dog for a walk, or change the baby because this team was not going to stop fighting until all 27 outs. I think this year after the 8th inning trailing, they're like 2-58 or 2-50 something, whatever the number was. I think Jim Palmer said it on the broadcast the other day. Once they get to the 7th and 8th inning and they're trailing, the games have usually been over for them this year. And I think to win in the playoffs, they're going to have to make some Oriole magic happen. What do I want to see over the next 6 games? Could they go 4-2, 5-1? It won't make much of a difference of their standing, but maybe build some momentum. Get guys back into rhythm, get guys back into a groove. Now, don't get me wrong. I wish maybe these guys were back maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it is what it is. Like I said, I wish we could have Grayson back. I don't really know what's going on with him. It's been kind of quiet, kind of tight-lipped. I think they're going to be very, very cautious because he could need surgery. We just don't know it yet, like Kyle Bradish. He could need to be out for an extended period of time. Maybe he gets it now. He's ready for spring training. And if that's the case, cool. Because the window, let me not go too far off on a tangent. The window for this team is open. And it's going to be open for the next couple of years. And I think next year, if they're healthy, they could be even better than they are this year. And throughout the first half of the year, we saw this team with the best record in the American League. They were not to be fooled around with. So we can bank on that. This team has the potential to getting guys back, but can they hit with runners in scoring position? Can they hit with runners in scoring position, and can they protect a lead in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings? Especially the 9th inning with the lead, with a closing situation, because we've seen Sir Anthony or Anthony Dominguez give up a lot of long balls, some walk-offs. They gotta tighten that up. So we'll see what happens there. But I think they could go maybe. I mean, I don't have high expectations. I probably could see them going 4-2, maybe. I don't know, but we gotta be cautious. We gotta see what they do in the playoffs. I will save my rant. I will save my nuclear heat that I may give this team until after the playoffs play out. We know they're going to be there, and that's why I always say, guys, start fast. We don't always talk about the games in April and May and June and now even March because they play earlier and earlier each year. But being able to have a good record in April, in May, in June, heading into the All-Star break can help you. That way, if you are 35 and 47 or whatever, under 500 in the last 2 or 3 months, you can sustain it with the extra wild card now. Sadly, we won't win a division, but I think the Orioles will make the playoffs for the first time in over 20 something years for back-to-back seasons. So big ups to them. We gotta Just 3 years ago, this team was the worst team in baseball. They had the worst record. And I think what they're doing with this team, they're on the right path. The injuries are a part of the game. They were so healthy last year, you kind of expected it this year. They're getting a little more healthy. Like I said, we'll see what happens with Grayson. You got Coulon back. You got Westberg back. You got Urias back. And you're going to get Mountcastle back. Be that as it may, we'll be home. I'll be covering it, of course. We'll be here live on the Flex Zone podcast, the only place giving you your Orioles coverage how you want it, when you need it. It is the one and only God's favorite host here, breaking down the Orioles as I do each and every day and throughout every moment. And of course, as we head towards the postseason, we'll be live after each game with the Baltimore Orioles post-game show, recapping the game. What went well, what went bad, good, bad, ugly, everything in between, all the breakdown, all the analysis. Right here is your place for that. Make sure you swing for the fences and subscribe. You go ahead and strike out that like button, leave us a thumbs up. It helps us out in YouTube tremendously. Cost you nothing. In a world where everything is so expensive and only going up, we remain free 99. It lets other Orioles fans, other people who love sports and baseball, know this is the place for your Orioles content. Hit the bell. It'll know when all of our videos drop. Just want to get you guys ready for the last week of the regular season. We've made it through another baseball season. The Orioles are in the playoffs for the second straight year. We haven't been able to say that since the 90s. And it's a great feeling. This team is built for the long haul. We'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens. We'll see it play out. We will see it play out. We will see what happens. And that's what it'll be. We'll have to let it play out and really, really see what happens. Last time the Orioles were in back-to-back playoffs was 1996 and 1997. 96 they lost in the ALCS, and then in 97 lost in the ALCS as well. So 88 and 74 in 96, 98 and 64 in 1997. Last 2 years that the Orioles were in back-to-back playoff contention, playoff clinchers. And they actually made it to the ALCS. So we'll see what happens this year. What is that? 27 years? First time in 27 years that the Orioles will make back-to-back playoffs. So we got to celebrate that. The injuries, unfortunately, derailed the season a little bit, but anything can happen. First thing you want to do each season is make the playoffs. Whether that's winning your division or be a wild card, they punch their ticket of proverbial in 2 days, in two games, two magic numbers. They'll clinch it by the end of the week, Thursday, the latest probably. They're going to be in the playoffs. They punch their ticket to the dance, and you can't win the dance without having a chance and having a ticket. They have a ticket, it's punched basically. They'll have a chance. They'll be in the wild card round, but I like the matchup against Kansas City and Minnesota. Avoid Detroit. Avoid Houston, and even Cleveland to a degree, but I think we can take the Yankees as well. So we'll see. Let me know. Sound off in the comment section. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Orioles last week of the regular season. Yankees for 3 and Twins for 3. The Saturday night game for the Twins moved to primetime on Fox because of playoff implications. Orioles looking to make the playoffs for back-to-back seasons. For first time in 27 years, 99.999% chance. God's favorite host. I'll see you real soon. Probably before the end of the regular season. We'll talk about it. We'll get to it. And we'll be here after each Orioles post-season game with the Orioles post-game show. Sign up in the comment section, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Go O's. Let's see what happens. It's been a struggle, but hold on, Orioles fans. Let's see how it plays out. Remain calm. Remain cool. Put your trust and faith in his team that they can somehow get it done and get out at the right time. Because we didn't see Arizona. We didn't see Texas last year in the World Series, and they got hot. 2 wildcard teams. And Texas eventually won the championship. So we shall see what happens there. But give it up. I'm proud of what the Orioles are building. They're going to be in the mix next year. And let's see how the season plays out for them as well. But I'm getting out of here, guys. Hope you have a great day. Peace. I'll see you in the next video.